It's Mountain Monday, and you know what to do. Breathe in. And out. And breathe in. And out. Okay, it's Mountain Monday, and I chose the Matterhorn as a mountain today because this is going to be a big scale, I think. It's something that is important to sort of talk about on the internet, even though I don't have high hopes of swaying too many people in day-to-day behavior. I'm going to try because I have watched with some concern with this tendency for people to call things lies, or more importantly, call people liars over honest mistakes. And I've been doing some reading about it. It's interesting that lying actually evolves as a human thing. They believe it's a self-defense trait, that there are social reasons for lying in some circumstances. I'm not convinced that it's exclusively a human trait. I think my dog lies to me to get food, but there's no proof of that, so we're going to move on. And that's the sort of thing that we get into. We get into this dangerous discussion of information quality. And why do I say this is dangerous? Well, people's reputations rise and fall on their trustworthiness. And you guys know I like data. I like information. And so I've been mulling over this fact that the perception of the two presidential candidates and the PolitiFact truthometer, that they like to call it, on the two presidential candidates don't match. More people are likely to believe that Hillary Clinton is dishonest. However, Donald Trump scores a lot of pants on fires on the PolitiFact chart. Donald Trump is, according to PolitiFact, the most dishonest politician around today. Actually, Ben Carson scored higher before he dropped out of the race. Caveat, I checked historically. I wanted to see if there was a change anywhere along the line. Like, I wanted to see if Hillary Clinton actually had become more honest. Because, I mean, we all know there's that pants on fire she got called on was the, oh, we landed in Bosnia under sniper fire. No, never happened. Just flat out. No one quite knows what happened. That's a lie. That's a lie right there. But she ranks true or mostly true most of the time. In fact, she's more truthful than Bernie Sanders. And Sanders' data was quite interesting, that he never flat out lied. But he had a lot of false or misleading statements. And there's a perfect example of someone, I don't believe he's lying. I don't think so. I think he interprets things in a way, and he really does believe them, but it's not really based on the facts. And in fairness about this chart, some people are on the record saying a lot more than others. And this is cumed based on the percentage of statements. So Hillary Clinton has a lot more statements to rate as opposed to Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders gives one speech and changes the names. Bernie Sanders has fewer truthful statements as a percentage of his statements than Hillary Clinton. And that's very interesting, because what does it mean? What does it mean? How is it that the trustworthiness ratings are so different than, what is actually, who is actually telling the truth more often? This is very interesting to me. And it's because when they measure trustworthiness, they're measuring opinion. And part of that is the fact that she is not open. She's very closed off. She's very secretive. Pivoting this more personal, because Mountain Monday, I try to make it more personal. I have been called a liar myself. I got called a liar a lot during the height of Gamergate. I got called a shill. I got called a liar. I got accused of all these crazy things. I was some kind of plant for the other side on both sides. It was wild. And it really made me realize how quick people were to see a conspiracy when it was just a misunderstanding. It was a breakdown in communication. And unfortunately, a lot of the time it was because of conversations where I got cut off mid-thought. Or I had been misinformed by somebody else. Like, it would be a question of, my understanding of this is this, and this. And people say, you're lying. It's not lying. That's my understanding of it. Please correct me, but don't call me a name. And what do you do when I learned this firsthand? What do you do when someone calls you a liar? You either have to provide evidence, or if you can't, or in some cases, I just wouldn't, because it would involve dragging in other people I didn't want involved. And when that happens, you basically have to choose. Do you drag in the people you don't want involved, which is going to cause more stress for you with people you know and like? Or do you just basically allow your reputation to be tarnished because you couldn't disprove the lie calling you a liar? And so obviously I'm very sensitive to this, and that's why that's why I feel this sort of sense of unfairness. That the only data we have, and some people will claim that PolitiFact is a left-wing site. I don't necessarily see, I've been looking. I've been trying to find whether PolitiFact is in fact a left-leaning site. I can't find any evidence of that, especially since, Jeb Bush and John Kasich rank quite low as well. I can't see a liberal bias there. No matter how you slice it, there's a big difference between Trump and Clinton. And I know I'm bringing this up. I just want people to be aware of it, because I know how hard it is to be in a situation where someone has called you a liar without evidence, or worse, with doctored or misleading evidence. And it's pretty amazing how hard it is to defend yourself against an accusation that you lied. You can't, there's a lot of different, and sometimes you can just be flat out wrong. I mean, I quote stats from memory a lot of times in these videos, and sometimes I do get it wrong. It's like a mental typo, right? It happens. And when that happens, it's easy enough for me to just say, yeah, you're right, that was an incorrect stat, and I can correct it. But it's amazing how many people going, that's proof you're a liar. No, it's proof I don't have a perfect memory. Was it wrong? Yes. Was it deliberately misleading someone? No. And perhaps I shouldn't quote statistics from memory. I just like numbers. You guys may have noticed that. But so my challenge for the week for you guys is to really separate someone who is just mistaken from someone who is actively trying to deceive. Because I think you might discover that, except in the cases of, people who rank high on PolitiFact's pants on fire chart, I think that you'll find that a lot of seeming lies are just mistakes. A lot of so-called conspiracies are just outright incompetence or someone having a bad day. And that's not saying that people never lie. Trust me, people lie all the time. And I think people lie about dumb things, as far as I'm concerned. But what I just want to suggest to people, based on my own experiences, and let me tell you, it makes you feel really powerless when someone's saying you're a liar, and you're telling the truth, but you can't prove you're telling the truth for various reasons. It's crushing. It really makes you feel like you can't trust other people as easily or as readily, because you constantly have to protect yourself from the disinformation coming from other people. Because someone who is calling you a liar and refuses to accept that you were just mistaken, it crosses a threshold into the point that they're being dishonest. They have a reason to want to believe this. And that's when it gets kind of scary, and that's when it gets to the point that it's like, I just want off this planet. You know, can I visit Venus for a while, the moon, something? Because this is ridiculous. Like, why can't things just be mistakes? I mean, that's why PolitiFact separates false from pants on fire, because making a false statement is not the same as something that is probably deliberately, like just over the top false. And I think that's an important distinction, because memory is not perfect. It's amazing to me. Sometimes I'd swear something, you remember a place and the wall's green and you see a picture of it. So the wall wasn't green at all. There might have been a plant where the curtains might have been green, but I remember the wall was green. If I say the wall was green in that instance, that's not lying. That's just a mistake. So, please, let's keep arguments fact-based, because there's going to be a lot of arguments in the coming months. This election is affecting the world. It's affecting people's conversations around the world. And so, please be cool. Cool? So let's finish up. Breathe in. And out. And breathe in.